Hello quilty friends and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel and I make videos about quilting and my creative life. Anywhere that you can find me on the web is listed down in the video description box below. It's usually 3 little dots or more that you have to press and you can see everything that we've discussed in the video today and the links where to find me. Now, if you've been following me over on Facebook or Instagram, you are going to know what we're going to talk about, and it is the beautiful Tilda collection that's just been released called Something Blue. So this was released on June the 1st, so if you're thinking about it and you can see that it's still available, I don't think it's going to last a huge amount of time. I know that shops are still getting deliveries, so there still might be stock coming in, but it's a gorgeous one. It's a beautiful collection of soft whites, medium tone blues and some darker blues as well. Really nice soft florals as well, and I think it's inspired by china plates. So a lot of the images that you would find would be on the Delft pottery and just inspired by pottery, I believe. Just look how gorgeous the colours go together. So I was very kindly sent some fabric from the sewing studio on pre-release. So I have had it for quite a while, but then they asked me not to share anything until the release date. So I didn't sew anything ahead of time. I then needed to order myself some backing and borders, and before you know it, I had a fat 8th bundle arriving to my house just after the launch date, and I am glad that I had this because I had to actually cut into a piece for the quilt. So you can see the quilt that I've started here behind me. I've been working on this over on my socials, like I said, and I've been uploading daily videos, sharing the progress and ultimately the evolution of the quilt. Now, the quilt pattern that I'm working on is this one here. It's a laundry basket quilts pattern and it's called Primrose, and I downloaded the Sewing Bird version. Sewing Bird was a collection that Laundry Basket Quilts had, and I just decided to download this version because it's already coloured in blue and white, so I thought it's going to be easier for me to then choose which fabrics I want where, because I really like, you know, the colour placement here. So where they've got this collection isn't anywhere near as dark as the Tilda collection though, but where they've got their darker blues, I'm going to put my darker blues, and so on and so forth. What they didn't use in this pattern is a solid background, so a white or a cream. Theirs is all patterned, but I decided because the whites are still quite patterned, you can see them there, you know, they've still got quite a few patterns on. I decided to also add in a solid fabric, and I've used Kona in the colour Snow. I've got that on a bolt behind me there, so I've just been cutting it off as I needed it. But you can see there behind, every time I put another round on, it just blows me away. And this is what I was saying in last week's video. Every quilt that I do is my favourite quilt until I make another quilt, and then that one's my favourite. And of course, not being a blue girl, I am quite surprised at how much I like this. My mum did make hints asking if she's getting a quilt. She is a blue person. But I'm sorry, Mum, but I've spent too much on the backing fabric. This one is for me. So let me show you the backing fabric. So the backing fabric I went for was this large floral in the collection. Look at that, that is beautiful. This is also available in a white background, but I thought the darker background would be really nice. Hoping I've got enough fabric to pattern match. If not, I'll have to do a panel or something down the middle. This quilt has a border around the edge, and this is the fabric that I went for on the border. And then I bought this one as my binding. So the stripes run from selvage to selvage. Do they? No, I don't think they do actually. No, the stripes run the length of the fabric. So when you cut it selvage to selvage, it will be going that way. So that is how my binding will look. Let me just fold it up so you can see how the binding will look. So that is how you will end up cutting and having the binding, which I think is really, really nice. That'll look nice against the edge. You could also, if you wanted to, cut your binding on the bias and have it have it going like that, which would be really nice as well. I've also made the quilt label. I was very prepared. I made the quilt label quite a while ago actually, before I'd even started the quilt, but I had the quilt in mind, and the quilt label reads, "Behind the clouds the sky is always blue," and then I've just put "lovingly stitched," my name and the year. And it's actually, the quilt is really cleverly constructed, because you would look at this and you would think there's got to be some Y seams in there somewhere to piece it and get it joined together. Also, I think a lot of laundry basket quilts, she's not afraid to use Y seams, but we're afraid to do them. So what you do is you start constructing it from the centre, and then you just work your way out. So that is really motivating as well, because what I've been saying to myself is I'll just do a few rounds every day, which just a couple of blocks. Well, depending on how far you are out on the rounds, depends on how many you have to do, but you might only be doing 4, and then it increases every time. Now I've got to do 40 blocks all the way around the edge. But that's okay, they're really fun to do, and because you're doing them in rounds, it feels like you've got little wins all the time, and you can just see how much every time you're transforming the quilt by adding all these extras on. I have put aside my fabric for these stars along the edge, because I want to fussy cut the centre of those stars, and I've only got a fat quarter to do it, so I might have to also break into the fat 1/8 bundle. But this is the fabric that I'm going to use for the centre of the stars. I've worked it out that I should be able to, it's not going to be completely fussy cut, but I'll be able to get, for example, the temple in, and then like a bit of the mountains. So I've got to be careful on how I cut that, but I've put it aside so I didn't cut into it for anything else. So if you want to see any of the colour placement or the individual blocks, you can head on over to my Instagram page. At the top there's what's called highlights, so underneath where it says follow, obviously press that. There's a highlight and it's labelled Tilda Something Blue. Just press that and you'll be able to see all of the videos that I've uploaded. They're essentially just saved to that one place. There's videos and pictures of all of the blocks. I did quite heavily starch the fabric for this quilt, because the way that Adita writes her patterns is that she doesn't do any 4 at a time, half square triangles, no fast flying geese method. She just does traditional piecing. So if it requires a half square triangle, you've cut 2 half square triangles, and it is so refreshing to do that and not have to mark the fabric, not have to cut everything apart. I think it is just as quick to sew 4 half square triangles from 8 half square triangles together than it is to mess about doing all that. Of course, you're on the buyer sew, so you do have to be careful not to stretch. I think that's why people do the multiples at once. You know, when something's just fresh and it feels quite good, so you cut everything into triangles. So this is my next block that I'm working on. This is my one where I've got to make 40. It does make quite a big block, but as you can see, everything is just cut into triangles and you just piece them together. It seems to come together really quick. The other thing in the pattern is it's quite odd numbers. I think it's because of that cutting together, and there has been some room to trim, more squaring up than trimming of each of the blocks. So for example, it might be a square that you cut that's 3 7/8, and me being a metric person, it's very confusing to me. I have to keep looking at the pattern a million times, and then I just tell myself if it's 3 7/8, I'm like, okay, almost 4 inch, because there's been a few occasions where I've cut it almost 3 inch and then I've wasted a strip of fabric. But all that to say, I have been having a lot of fun doing this. It's really refreshing and it's quite a rewarding quilt. And as you can see, I've been super organised and put everything into like a file folder, because it is a 25-page pattern. It's very detailed. I've just been cutting my blocks as it tells you to assemble block 1, assemble block 2. I've been cutting and choosing my fabrics at that point. So for the future blocks that go in the corner, other than that one that I'm going to fussy cut, I don't know what fabrics I'm going to use. I'm just going to choose it on the day that I decide to make it. And I'm kind of thinking the quilt top might be finished by this time next week. So shall I make a part 2? I've been doing that quite a bit recently, haven't I? Doing multiple parts for the same project. Do you enjoy that? Makes it a little bit easier on me, not having to film weeks in advance and then compile it in to one video. Ta-da! Here is the finished project. So it makes it a bit easier and I think also a bit more realistic. The pattern isn't pre-cut or fat quarter friendly. You do need more than the fat quarter bundle, especially when you start getting to these blocks here where you're making 40. To be honest, these are the only ones that I think aren't fat quarter friendly, and that one where I needed something else. I think I'd already cut into the fabric for something else, so therefore I didn't have enough to do what I needed. But if you pre-chose all your fabrics for the blocks, you probably wouldn't have that. Yeah, so for here you need like over a fat quarter, half yard perhaps. If you're also interested in doing this pattern, either purchase the pattern and do what I said, work out what you need for each block, or just go onto her website. She has all the fabric requirements listed and she breaks hers down into light and dark. All of her patterns, she just refers to the fabric as light and dark, and it will tell you how much of the light you need and then how much of the dark, which is essentially all shades of the blue, and that will give you an idea of how much you're going to need. And the quilt itself finishes at 66.5 by 78.5, so a good like single bed, twin size bed size, a good size for 3.5 inch blocks. You don't want to be making a huge quilt out of 3.5 inch blocks, do you? If you did want to make the quilt bigger, you would just continue the pattern. So here those edge pieces stop. You're not doing a point of them, so you could continue those for a point. You could make everything a bit wider, do more of each block, and just essentially expand this center square and do it like that. So I think that'll be me for this week. I just wanted to keep you updated on what I'm up to, get you inspired with something a little bit different from me. Someone did leave a comment and ask if I could make more sophisticated quilts, so I think this fits the brief. I hope so anyway. Before I let you go, let me show you something else I've been doing. In the last like 12 months, I've been getting a big kick on using my scraps as I generate my scraps. And I've been using the scraps to make little hexagons. I think this will just turn into a small project, I think. So I've just been in a scrappy fashion, just piecing them together in their colour family, so the light, medium and darks, and then just making some EPP hexagons. I've been trying to get a nice variety of prints into each of the hexagon. I'm not sure if maybe I'll put another round on them, maybe a nice grey fabric, or whether I'll applique them onto something. Perhaps depending on if my back doesn't match, I could put a strip of hexagons down the back in fabric, because I'm not sure if I've bought enough to pattern match the back, because it is quite a big print, isn't it? So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but it's just, I enjoy stitching for the joy of stitching. We said that in last week's video, didn't I? I don't always need a purpose of what I'm actually going to turn something into to enjoy it. And if it doesn't end up working out for any of those things, I might just do a bunch of hexagons with my fat 8th bundle. I did originally say that I wanted to do a different EPP project. And you'll see that if you go back and watch those videos. But I don't think I'm going to know. I don't think I fancy it. That's the thing, isn't it, about making decisions before you start working on something, or thinking you're going to make multiple things. Sometimes you just want to go with the flow and make something nice and easy, which for me is hexagons. Well, I think that will be me for this week. I'm still not feeling 100%, so I wanted to make a shorter video for you this week. But just to let you know, you can catch up on what I've been doing over on the other apps. Let me know in the comments what you've been making this week, and I hope you've been well. So until the next time I see you with part 2, if you like this format, then I'll see you next week. And until then, you take care and happy stitching. Bye.